Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and it's time to talk about The Flash. So last week was what I said was maybe the best episode in the series. It was a really, really good episode with Deathstorm and Killer Frost and Zoom and Earth 2. It was just a really, really nice episode with maybe the one drawback as far as plot and story goes of Geomancer. It's not a big deal. So this episode, still in Earth 2, finishing up that storyline. It's a direct, they basically just split it in half. No real closure in that episode, so they're finishing it all off in this past episode. And I have to say, it didn't deliver like I thought it might. It wasn't bad. There was a lot of good in it, but there was some blah, some meh. I didn't really care for it in this episode. So let's start with that. Let's start with the negative and end on a happy note. So the negative, Geomancer. Is he a popular comic character? Because as far as him being in the show, not good. He's goofy looking, first of all. The guy doesn't look like a villain or a superhero or anything. I mean, he just doesn't have the right look. And then the costume they put on him just looks weird. Why is he wearing those goggles? Are those 1950s welding goggles? I don't know what they are. They don't look right. It looks goofy. Maybe it's close to the comic book iteration, but I don't like it. And his superpower is corny, and they just threw him in there for Jay to have something to do. And I'm not the biggest fan of Jay in the first place. So the whole thing just felt kind of unnecessary. I would have rather they spent more time developing the Earth 2 storyline with Flash, or with Barry and Dr. Wells. It wasn't a big deal. It didn't take away from the episode, really. I just felt like it could have been better without it. So there was that. And then there's the whole Jay Garrick thing. He doesn't have his speed. Does he have his speed? Is he connected to Zoom? Is he not? Is his doppelganger going to be Zoom? What's going on with that? We don't really get much there other than the fact that while Barry's trapped in Zoom's lair, which we saw last week, there's this other guy who is trapped also with Barry. He's got this metal mask on his face, I guess so that he can't talk. They haven't really touched on that. All we know is he keeps tapping on the glass. Anyway, turns out after a lot of plot forwarding, or AELs, as I like to say, which are artificial episode lengtheners, we find out that he's trying to convey a message of some sort that starts with J, J-A-Y. We don't learn anything more than that. So it's just a way to build suspense. What is this about Jay that this guy knows who's in some relation with Zoom? So what's up with that? Which is fine. I don't mind that, but I kind of feel like we need to progress that story arc. What's going on with Jay? Is this guy bad? Is this guy good? Jay Garrick's obviously supposed to be a good guy, so is there another doppelganger? What's going on? I want to get some information about that. So, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just something let's go. Let's either focus on the good stuff or spend more time making the bad stuff better. I don't know. It just felt weird. Not weird, but unnecessary, kind of. I'm not wording it properly. Maybe you guys understand what I'm talking about. It feels like they're just dragging out this thing rather than making it more interesting. Okay, anyway, it gets interesting at the end because as they close the portal, and we're going to skip back to the other stuff in a minute, but I'm just going to finish this J thing. So as they close the portal, the rift, Jay, for some reason, using his super smart brain, walks over to the thing after he thinks it's closed, even though it's not closed clearly. It's on its way to being closed. He just stands there with a big dumb grin on his face, and then Zoom right through the guts and pulls him back through too. So that was cool. It was a nice way to end the episode. I guess we're gonna have more Jay storyline, or maybe he's dead. I doubt it. So I'm curious about that. I'm liking that aspect of it. I wish they would kind of just. It doesn't feel like it has the same momentum as the rest. Maybe it's just because it's not Barry, so I'm a little biased, I guess. I'm curious what you guys think. I don't think it's bad. I just kind of. I'm not into that whole story arc. So let's get into the story arc that I am into. Barry and Wells and Cisco going to Earth 2 to try to stop Zoom. Which works out for the most part. Barry gets caught. We saw that last episode. And for the most part in this episode, Wells and Cisco are there to save Barry. Which they do by enlisting the help of Killer Frost and Earth 2 Iris and Earth 2 Barry, which is kind of funny, even though he doesn't really contribute much. other than some really convenient science, which works out okay. But I think Grant, I think his name's Grant, right? Grant Gustin. He did a good job playing the two different versions of Barry. I think that was, it felt pretty natural. So that was good. And I think Earth 2 Iris is definitely better than Earth 1 Iris. Earth 1's a little more appealing, I think, in that she keeps her hair down and looks good. But she's kind of annoying to me. And Earth 2 Iris is kind of a badass, so I like her a lot more. But she's in that one, it's good, no problem there. Then they get Killer Frost to help them, which they think she's helping them, so that's fine. She has a couple of cool scenes, so that's good. And then turns out she's just setting them up for Zoom. But she decides to go against Zoom after all and help them. So long story short, they get Barry out. Everybody's okay. They don't save the Man in the Iron Mask yet. Barry says he's going to come save him. But to me, it seems like that should have been higher on the list of priorities because he clearly has something to do with the plot. I guess they had to save that for a later episode. So that's okay. Zoom's in this episode a lot, which was cool. I don't know. Something about this episode didn't have the right mojo. I don't know if it was a different writer or just something about it didn't feel as good as the last episode. I really did like Zoom's parts in the parts with Barry and Zoom interacting. That was good, except for the fight scene with Zoom and Barry in the cage. Zoom should have been beating the pulp out of Barry, and that's what he was doing because he said, I don't need you to be in good shape. I just need you to be slightly alive. Then he punches him around a little bit, and Barry keeps smacking his face into the cage, which looks kind of odd. Just the whole fight scene was poorly choreographed. I think it didn't really do anything for me again. So I don't know. This episode wasn't bad in any way. It just didn't. It was missing some kind of spark, some kind of something extra that I just didn't find. So I'm curious what you guys thought. I did like the whole Wells and his daughter thing. That's finally concluded, so that's pretty good. Cisco had some nice lines in this episode, so that was good. Did you guys notice Wells kept saying everything twice? Was that just me? Every time he says anything with any emotion, he says it twice. I don't know if they wrote it that way or what, but I found that kind of interesting. So, all right, I'll stop rambling. I'm going to stop rambling, and you guys can let me know what you guys thought about the episode, because I thought it was good, just not quite there. I'm looking forward to the next episode, especially with the whole J thing at the end. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you in the comments, and then I'll see you in the next video.